Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse DC Classics Waverider. This is a gold labeled Target exclusive figure. I pre-ordered him on the Target app and he arrived today. Now, Waverider is an interesting character. He was first introduced for Armageddon, and he's been back a few times since then, but this particular version of Waverider is actually Booster Gold, but I'll talk about that a little more in the video. For now, let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus. This is part of the McFarlane Gold Label collection. Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive, whether it be Walmart or GameStop. This particular Gold Label is a Target exclusive. DC Multiverse Waverider. Here he is in the package. Looks like he has 4 hands, a bunch of flame effects, collector's card, and display stand. One side of the package, Waverider, DC Classic. I don't think DC Classic is the right word for this guy. Other side, Waverider. At the bottom, a bunch of credits. There's his barcode, if that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Waverider. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, and then 4 of these sort of flame effects, although they might be rainbow effects. But before I take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Waverider, and this is actually the 3rd version of Waverider. If that sounds confusing, it is. I'll try my best to explain it, although I don't fully understand it myself. I read the Wikipedia, and it's still very confusing to me. The original Waverider is a time-traveling hero, Matthew Ryder. He was introduced in the Armageddon storyline in, I believe, 1991. He was to save the entire multiverse, and I believe he fought Monarch. That guy died, and then the second Waverider was also Matthew Ryder. It's confusing, doesn't make a lot of sense, but this is the 3rd Waverider, and this one is actually Booster Gold. In the New 52, Booster Gold died, and being a fellow time traveler like Waverider, somehow he came back as an actual Waverider. So this version is Michael Carter, Booster Gold, reincarnated as Waverider from the New 52. Now the New 52 version of Booster Gold died, and then the rebirth, he's back alive. It's all very complicated, DC and their constant reboots. Now Waverider is tied to time traveling. One little Easter egg in the Arrowverse TV show, Defenders of Tomorrow, he's Rip Hunter's time ship is called Waverider. Cool little Easter egg there. So, that all being said, let's take a look at him. So, starting with his head here, he's got literal flames coming off his head. The figure is mostly done in gold and black. It's done on the Batrocidus body from the Dark Knight's Metal, and we'll check that out later in the video. So looking at his face, it's kind of expressionless, pure gold. He's got white eyes, semi-transparent flames coming out of his head. His suit, the texturing is pretty nice. You can see the sculpting all over it. Now he has a star on his chest. That is actually Booster Gold star. That's how you know this version is Booster Gold. Going further down, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Not too much else going on. The texturing is nice. It's a good looking figure, but a figure of a character that damn near nobody even knows who it is. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It looks good, kind of mannequin-esque. And a closer look at the star on his chest, showing you that this version of Waverider is Booster Gold. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories. Let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand we've seen a million times before. It's a black circle, very thin, very basic, but it gets the job done. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of a Waverider. You see he has that sort of cosmic background, always looks like sort of rainbow or tie-dye stuff. Waverider, DC Classic. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 left hands and 2 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his second pair of hands. His right hand has the index finger pointing, and his left hand is open in kind of an awkward way. You see his finger pointing there, and the other hand kind of open. Now let's look at these flame effects. They're repurposed from the Injustice Flash, and it's good reuse if you ask me. Made in a sort of semi-transparent orange plastic, kind of bendable here to wrap around his arms and legs. Now at first glance, I thought they were flame effects, but when you turn around to the other side, they have some blue mixed in with the red or the orange. And I thought maybe there's some sort of rainbow effects, probably sort of cosmic energy, something like that. Here's Waverider with those effects attached. Now, I chose to do with the sort of the blue and the orange on the outside so you can see it better. But you can do it either way, however you prefer. It could be pure orange on the outside. Now I wanted to check out the differences or similarities between Waverider and Batrocidus. That's the body they use to make most of this figure. So, obviously their heads are completely different. I would say the top part of the torso is probably different. You can see he's got the star here, he's got the, I don't know, Batrocidus logo or whatever. Then the stomach is exactly the same, the diaper is exactly the same. The arms appear to be exactly the same, with the exception of the shoulders and the top part of the torso. And then the legs also look to be exactly the same moving down. So they're 100% the same figure, minus the top part of the torso, the head, and then the shoulders. Pretty good reuse. If you ask me, it works and does not remind me of Batrocidus at all. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now for his height. From bottom to the top of his flame, standing at about 7.5 inches tall, which can translate to 19 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down a good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got this butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increase the range of motion and cover the giant gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows, they go in about this far. His wrist can rotate and is going to be hinged as well. In his torso, he's got a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in his torso area. Legs, complete dust splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. They go forward about that far, back not much. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's an image of Waverider riding a wave of flames and cosmic energy. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to Midnighter. Midnighter is the other figure from this wave. These are both gold labeled Target exclusive figures that just dropped. And here he is, next to Booster Gold. These guys are actually the same character. Booster Gold had died and then came back as Waverider, but was still Michael Carter and had the memories and experiences of Booster Gold. Then, next to Firestorm, another McFarlane DC figure that has actual flames coming out of his head. One thing these guys have in common, about the only thing these guys have in common, they actually made 3 different versions of the Firestorm, and each one has the flames in his hair. Then, next to the Atomic Skull, who has a similar flaming head. Now let's check him out next to some other recent gold labeled Target exclusive figures. Here he is, next to the Ted Cord Blue Beetle, both versions of the Rebirth Supergirl, Sinestro Corps Batman, Impulse, and Deadman. And here he is, next to the Target exclusive Flashpoint Wave, collective build Cyborg. Then, with the Target exclusive Jokerized Dark Knight Trilogy Wave, collective build a Jokerized Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. And now, with some more Target exclusive Jokerized stuff. Now let's check him out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Amazon exclusive glow-in-the-dark variations of John Stewart Green Lantern, Swamp Thing, Titan Joker, and the Infected Batman. Here's Waverider, next to some recent Entertainment Earth exclusive figures. We have the Blacklight figures on the left, and the line art sketch figures on the right. And here he is, next to the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 2, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. Then, next to the Injustice 2, Superman, and Brainiac. And now, next to the Last Night on Earth, Batman vs. Omega 2-pack. And now, next to the Dark Knights of Steel Batman, and both versions of the Jim Gordon Batman. Here's Waverider, next to the Batman Beyond vs. Justice Lord Superman 2-pack. And here he is, next to both versions of the Santa Batman. Then, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Black and White accent Joker and Martian Manhunter. And now, next to some recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusive figures, we have the Patina variant of Superboy Prime and Merciless, then Interrogation Room Joker and Catman. And finally, next to the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom movie wave. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, and gives you another lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all of McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, next to some Jack specific and some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here's Waverider next to a pair of dirty socks. And here he is, next to some DC Direct and some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with both some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Then, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, Waverider is a pretty cool figure, a very interesting and out there character choice. I don't think anyone out there was asking for Waverider, especially the Booster Gold version. But seeing characters like Waverider and Midnighter come out really give me hope for some other obscure DC characters. I love the obscure characters, all the crazy Bat Rogues, etc., etc. I really want to see more stuff like this, but hopefully stuff that I'm a little bit more interested in than Waverider. They did a pretty good job with the figure. He looks good, looks pretty cool, but it's not something I even knew existed, much less wanted. His accessories, the repurposed Flash Speed Force effects, actually works pretty good. You can even use them for the Flash if you wanted. Sculpt and paint job, I'd say very nice. I know it's a lot of reuse, but it works. Articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. My enjoyment for him is not quite as high as some of the other figures because I never asked for Waverider. I didn't even know he existed. Well, okay, yes I did, but I had completely forgotten about him for a very, very long time. I'm going to have to dig out that old comic series, even though it's not even about this version of Waverider. Still, I love the obscure characters like Captain Carrot, Polka Dot Man. McFarlane has made some really cool releases over the years, and I hope to see many, many more, especially the obscure Bat Rogues. Those guys are just awesome. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comments section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.